Why? Hello everybody, Scorpio Caesar here, part of the Super Retro Force, and in today's video, it's gonna be like the last couple of videos where I'm talking about 360 pickups. I went berserk. I'm like a madman, possessed right now because of all the Xbox 360 FOMO that's been going on YouTube. So I've been FOMO buying and picking up a lot of those loose ends. So that you don't have to, so don't follow my lead, but I got stacks of games to talk about today that I picked up at a bunch of different locations. We're going to get into it in today's episode. Welcome to the CesArcade.
Get ready.
I have to say thank you once again everyone for tuning in, checking me out, liking the video, leaving a comment down below like you have been for the past couple of videos. This channel has seen such tremendous growth in such a short amount of time. I've probably gotten over 200 subscribers alone just from these couple of videos, and I really do appreciate you all for tuning in. I hit up a bunch of different video game stores, including Gamestops. Let's see what I got. So while walking through East Stroudsburg with my wife, I saw a game store called Gamer's Edge. Now this place was recommended to me by a GameStop employee and I wanted to check it out. Now when I went inside, there was a lot of tabletop stuff, a lot of comic books, but they did have some video games. The thing was that a lot of the video games were pretty overpriced if you ask me. And I wasn't too thrilled by what I saw, or the prices for that matter, and you know, the owner obviously knew what they had, because when you look in the glass case, there were some heavy hitters in there that were, I didn't even see the price tag, nor did I ask, but I did see two Xbox 360 games that I was looking for, and I bit the bullet. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go in here, I want to kind of support these guys even though the prices are a bit much, so I bought two games. First off, we have Red Faction Armageddon. Now this is a backwards compatible game as well for modern day Xboxes. Plays like a dream on my One X. And this one was only $5.99. Now, I had this game on the PS3. In fact, I've had it for the longest on the PS3, but I never really played it. I got it for free in a buy two get one deal at GameStop years ago. So I decided to check it out finally on my One X, and holy hell, this game is really good. It's a sequel to Gorilla, takes place years later after that game, and it still has the same engine, so there's a lot of destructibility, which is actually pretty fun. However, this one takes more of a linear approach to the story, and it's more of a third-person shooter with a lot of kind of creepy elements, especially as you get deeper into the core of the planet Mars. I'm really liking what I played so far. And this guy even has a glove that allows you to repair things. I didn't play Red Faction Gorilla, but I heard a lot of great things about it. And I believe this carries over. This glove is amazing. You can repair bridges, you can repair parts of the environment that you destroy. I'm like, man, I wish I had this thing for my Jeep. Holy hell. But anyways, Red Faction Armageddon. A great game, definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of third-person shooters with a lot of destructibility to it. Is it going to win any awards? No, but for the price I paid and the price you're probably going to pay if you're interested, definitely worth checking out. And next up, we have a sequel to the game that I was talking about in my last video, Battle Stations Midway. I ended up finding Battle Stations Pacific. It was $14.99, and given the price that it goes for on eBay, honestly, excluding shipping, that's about how much you're probably going to pay for this one. And I decided, you know what? I might as well just pick it up here. I see it here in person. It's always better for me to just grab it in person than wait for some crazy person on eBay selling from Canada, and I'll probably never get it because it's stuck in pre-shipment label purgatory. So I picked it up, played a little bit of it. It's pretty much just like Battle Stations Midway. There's more content to it, obviously. Different campaign. It's a sequel in every sense of the word. More of the same. Not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're into this game. Moving on. And that was all I picked up from Gamer's Edge. Like I said, it's in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, so if you're ever interested, here's the business card popping up right now. Let's move on. So I asked my wife, who was taking care of her grandfather, if she could stop by the local GameStop, which was quite literally a block away in a mall. She was going to head there anyways, so she decided to check out some of the 360 games they had on sale. And she ended up finding Bayonetta on the Xbox 360. Now, I originally had Bayonetta on the 360, but I traded it in a long time ago, and I've since had the Switch version digitally. Wanted to have it physically once again, so I'm glad I have Bayonetta back in my collection. This one was only $7.99. And for $6.99, I decided to pick up the Xbox 360 version of WWE 2K15. Now, when I originally bought this game, I played it on the Xbox One, and I was such a huge disappointment that my love for the series hasn't been the same since. The Xbox 360 version, however, was the better version, because it was basically just a reskin of 2K14, which was the last one that I really spent a lot of time into. So I decided to pick it up, and it's got a nice holographic cover art. That's why I mainly picked it up. But yeah, $6.99 can't go wrong. I want to check out my Gamestops in the Pennsylvania area. I checked up 3 different locations. The first location, I found something good, and I mean good. First off, we have Forza Horizon 2 on the Xbox 360. Now, I stopped playing Forza after Part 4 and for Horizon 1. I felt that's where the series peaked for me. But I heard the Xbox 360 version of Forza Horizon 2 isn't god-awful like I originally thought. Dean Thompson from Escape to Gaming, this is another one that he talked about in one of his videos, and I decided, you know what, for $14.99, you can't go wrong with another Forza game on the 360. It's pretty much more of the same Forza Horizon goodness. The racing's fine, but the story I don't give a damn about, because it's all these thick accents and rich yuppies that are going to these festivals that are just like, oh please, give me a damn break. Don't you people have jobs? Anyways, Forza Horizon 2 on the 360. This one was like a no-brainer. When I saw this, I freaked the F out. I opened up the case to make sure I had its manual, and boy was I so happy I found it. It is 007 Bloodstone. Now this one in particular was one that I've been looking on eBay for quite a while. It stays under $20 in most cases, and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to go up in price, really, honestly. I don't think it will, but you never know. And this one was developed by Bizarre Creations, and I believe it was their last game before Activision shuttered them down. And it breaks my heart because I love Bizarre Creations. I love the work they did with Metropolis Street Racer. Project Gotham Racing was my favorite racing game series of all time. They did such a fantastic job with Blur, Geometry Wars, and then Bloodstone came and went. Not a lot of people talked about it. It came during a time where the market was saturated with games like this. It's a third-person shooter with cover elements, but also driving segments, which are pretty well done because, I mean, it's Bizarre Creations after all. They made some of the best racing games on the original Xbox and 360. I'm so glad I found it when I did for $14.99. That's about the price it's going for on eBay or online, not including shipping. So when I saw it there, complete in its box, what a find this one was. I was so happy to pick it up. Second GameStop I went to, didn't have much. Went to the third GameStop further out in Stroudsburg, and I found this. A double pack of Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Balls, and Viva Pinata. Now personally, I just skipped over this. It's one of those flimsy GameStop cases with a cover art. Oh god, I hate them. They're gross. Right, here's the thing. I completely forgot that I actually owned these cases and manuals already. So what did I do? I picked it up, it was $9.99, so I just filled them out. Yeah, sure, they're the Platinum Hits discs, but I mean, I needed to fill these cases and manuals at some point, right? Both complete in their box. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Balls, no, I'm not talking about it today. And Viva Pinata. Viva Pinata was a great game that really took me by surprise. A really chillax game that I just vibed with when it came out. It was one of the last games that I really enjoyed from Rare, but if you're going to pick any of these up, go with the Rare Replay versions on the Xbox One. It's definitely a better value on there. If you want to get these physical on Xbox 360, I can't stop you. I don't see them going up in price. Honestly, their prices are pretty low as it is. And Viva Pinata in particular, though, is a special case because it did get a sequel that had a lot of quality of life improvements with Trouble in Paradise, So I highly recommend that you pick that one up over the original version because it has all the same content anyways. And that is what I found at GameStop. Went to the video game store in Wilkes-Barre, PA. Now I didn't film anything here during these 2 trips. However, I have covered this game store in the past and recorded footage. A lot of the scenery inside, nothing really changes in this store. The inventory may be different, but every time I go, it's the exact same layout. Nothing really changes. So I didn't film in there, nor did I feel like it. But if you want to see what that store is all about, I have a video here popping up in the top right-hand corner of your screen so you can check out what this store is all about. It's in Wilkes-Barre, PA, the video game store. Now first, pickup, I want to talk about from the video game store, I want to talk about a PS3 alternative. Now this is a game that came and went, like many of them at the time, never dead on the PlayStation 3. Now this one came out on the 360 as well, and I believe I originally owned it on the 360. However, I didn't own it for very long. Now the reason being is that it's a tough game, but I don't mean tough as in challenging, I mean tough as in cheap. Now the problem is you're playing an undead character in this game. I forget his name, not important right now. But when an enemy hits you in this game, your limbs go flying off, okay? You have to roll your head basically to reconnect all your limbs back to your body. Sounds interesting, right? Yeah, sure, the premise and idea sounds interesting, but the execution is flawed. Problem is that the detection and collision, it gets a little wonky, the frame rate's all over the place, and then the screen tearing, especially on the PS3 version, is pretty rough. How it is on the 360, from my memory, it wasn't that much better. Now, is it a terrible game? That's debatable. I don't like to rank games and call them terrible out of the bat. Like I said, I've only played maybe 2 hours into it. It's tough, especially with your severed head rolling around the place. There's these enemies that suck you in, which is lame because you can get stuck in an endless loop of these stupid little bastards just sucking your head up. Okay, that came out very wrong, and I'm just gonna end it there. Never dead on the PS3. I got it as a PS3 alternative, and I believe I paid $15 for this one. You all tired of hearing about the Xbox 360? Well, I'm not. Back to it. Alright, so the first game I picked up in the bargain bin, $4, was Max Payne 3. Now, I already have this game. However, I don't have the case, cover art, or manual for it anymore. And the fact that it was only there for $4, I figured, you know what? I could probably sell the discs at some point. Not my favorite Max Payne, however, it's still a great game and definitely worth checking out. So I picked it up, why not? And it's also backwards compatible on modern day Xboxes, yay! Next up we have Xbox Live Arcade Unplugged. Now a lot of these Xbox Live Arcade compilation discs are definitely worth checking out because a lot of these games that you're going to find in these discs, once the marketplace goes down, then unfortunately you're not going to be able to play those anymore unless you already downloaded them. So I decided to pick it up anyways, and yeah, not a bad game. This one includes PopCap's Bejeweled 2, Wick Fable of Souls, Texas Hold'em Poker, Outpost Koloki X, Hardwood Backgammon, and most importantly, Geometry Wars Retro Evolved. I love me some Geometry Wars. Next up, this was another one in their bargain bin for only $4 I paid. Doesn't have a manual, unfortunately. That's something I could always hunt down in the future if I really want to. The Bourne Conspiracy. Now, I've never actually sat down to watch the Matt Damon Bourne movies, okay? I heard a lot of great things about them. They're very action-packed, and you definitely see that when you play the game. Because the game has a lot of combat, fisticuffs, a lot of action moments, and it's also got some cover elements and third-person shooting. I like how the camera works in this game. It definitely feels cinematic, and if you're a fan of the Bourne series in general, definitely check this one out because it may be a short game, but for $4 you can't go wrong, and I had a good time from what I played from it. Fable 3. Now, I played every Fable game. The first one was always going to be my favorite. Fable 2 was also pretty good. Fable 3 I played a little bit of back when it originally came out, and I was never too thrilled about it. Something about it just, I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I'm hoping to fix that and give Fable 3 another chance Now that I have it in my collection, I have pretty much every Fable game ever released. Fable series, definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. Mindjack. $5. I saw it there, it's complete in its box. I was like, you know what? It's a third-person shooter, it's got cover-based mechanics, the voice acting's... oh god. Let me just listen to this.
Advice, don't be scared.
Scared? I'm furious.
Listen, lady, you're a high-profile activist and your file's got a 5-star pain-in-the-ass rating. When you hop off planes, you make a lot of people jumpy.
People like you?
Let's go.
Where?
The cool gimmick about Mindjack in particular here is that you can actually hack into other people's minds. You can even take over civilians or enemy soldiers and turn them against their foes. And you can have like a bunch of them mind controlled at the same time. It kind of unbalances the playing field, but it's honestly pretty sweet if you play it. I think it's pretty good so far from what I've played. It has potential to be very fun, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. But yeah, did you play Mindjack? I'm interested in hearing your opinion. Next up, we have the Prince of Persia. This was kind of like the reboot they did. This game, when it first came out, I bought into the hype. I decided to pick it up. I played a bit of it. I got pretty far into it, and then I just stopped cold turkey. People complained about the game being too easy. However, you can like get hurt in this game. Sure, Elika like grabs you and saves you most of the time, and it warps you back to like a very nearby checkpoint, but Prince of Persia is still a fantastic game. Now, the one thing that bugged me about this game, which is pretty superficial and stupid of me, but it does bother me, is that the main prince guy is voiced by Nolan North. So basically, it's just Nathan Drake as Prince of Persia. Maybe that won't bother you so much, but for me, it just, I'm like, what? It's Nathan Drake. And also, the DLC for this game is definitely one you want to check out if you do have this one. It actually has the ending for the game in DLC. I know that's weird, that's what I heard. It's so weird how developers tie endings to actual games through DLC that you have to pay for. So weird, so stupid, I hate that practice. And then I look at the Ubisoft logo and I realize why. Next up, we have an ATV racing game called Nailed. This one was only 10 bucks, and the reason why I picked it up was because I've been playing a lot of these off-road racing games. I picked up Pure, I picked up Fueled, and Nailed was the other one that I completely missed. This one, I see it go for like under $10 for the PS3 on eBay, but for some damn reason, the Xbox 360 version is shooting up there in price. Honestly, I wouldn't have paid more than $10 for it because that's all I feel that it's really worth. But Nailed is a fast-paced ATV racer, definitely high octane, very crazy. It's so crazy, the jumps are huge in this game, that it's very easy to go off the level and off the track and have to respawn. May not be for everybody. Personally, I prefer Pure, but Nailed is still pretty fun and adrenaline packed. So if you like those type of racing games, this one's definitely worth checking out. Now, this was back when Sega was trying to modernize some of their classic Genesis titles, and let's just say the reception wasn't pretty for it. It's Golden Axe Beast Rider. Now, I know what you're thinking, ugh, why did he buy that? That game sucks. Here's the thing, I bask in mediocrity. I don't mind a mediocre game as long as it's reasonably priced. Most games, they got bombarded by the reviewers because people were going to be charged 60 bucks for a game. If it was mediocre, then the reviewers generally tend to let you know, unless they got paid off or something. I'll be honest with you, Tyrus Flair is a baddie. She always has been, and she looks great in this one. And I like the fact that you can actually ride beasts. However, from what I played, I invested like maybe 2 hours into it. I didn't get very far. The combat definitely is a bit more slower paced and methodical. Definitely takes some getting used to when it comes to dodging and the parrying. You got magic you can use as well. I like how you could deflect the enemy's magic right back at them. Pretty badass. Do I wish the game played a little better and faster? Sure. Do I wish the game had a more vibrant color palette? Definitely. But is it a terrible game? The jury's still out on this one in my opinion. Next up, we have a Konami release. Now, this was made by Gaijin Entertainment, and you ever heard of X-Blades? Well, the developers decided to redo X-Blades with a more realistic aesthetic to it, and that's basically what Blades of Time is. Not a sequel per se, but kind of a reimagining. Which is weird if you think about it, because these both came out within years of each other. But I guess everybody deserves a second chance, and the developers definitely wanted to take the chance with this one. From what I played, the jank is real. It doesn't feel that great combat-wise. Like, I wish there was more feedback in my controller. Granted, the action is pretty fast-paced, and the game looks okay. It's not gonna blow your brains out when it comes to like graphics, but it looks decent. There's a lot of bloom in the game. I have to invest a bit more time into this one, but for only 10 bucks, you can't go wrong. Next up, we have a game that I finally can finish the trilogy off with. Lost Planet 3 was released towards the tail end of the Xbox 360's lifespan, and at this point they stopped making manuals, which is unfortunate, but I paid around $14 for this one. Honestly, I think I got my money's worth. Now, Lost Planet 3 is kind of the black sheep, although every Lost Planet game was kind of different in its own way. The first one, I still think to this day, still one of the best looking Xbox 360 games I've ever seen. Back when I originally played the demo for the first one, my eyes were blown away by how good that game looked. Still holds up to this day. All three Lost Planet games, including the Colonies edition of Part 1, are also backwards compatible. So keep that in mind. If you're going to pick up the Lost Planet games on the 360, they're still relatively cheap and definitely affordable. This one goes for around $15 anyways on eBay, not including shipping. It sounds like it has a fantastic personal story to it as well, and I'm really looking forward to playing more of it. At this point, it's just considered loose. But I saw this, and the reason why I picked it up was because this was a game I had in the past. Battle Fantasia, 2.5D fighting game. The graphics, the characters, everything is in 3D, but the fighting style is 2D. Now, the reason why I picked this one up is because this one disappeared off the face of the earth. Someone on YouTube decided to be the whistleblower and say that this game was going to go up in price and be super expensive. Can I just get this out of the way? This game went from $19.99, complete in box, overnight, to $60, $80. Absolutely ridiculous and definitely not worth it. Now, I picked it up because it was loose. Like I said, I can always reprint a cover art if I desperately need to. Battle Fantasia is still a very stylistic game, and I don't think Arc System Works ever released a bad fighting game. This one has so much charm to it in the characters alone. You could fight as a magical bunny. I kid you not. It's still very charming and really cool, but god damn, for only $4 I couldn't go wrong. But the prices people are charging on the Bay is absolutely ridiculous. I would recommend the PS3 edition. Now, the PS3, remember, is region free for the most part, and that version is around 14, 19 bucks still on eBay if you find it. So definitely get the PS3 version if you desperately need one. 360 version, wait for the price to go down on this one because it's not exclusive like people are probably saying it is. It just never got a physical release in the US on the PS3. Next up, $4, Medal of Honor. I believe my father played through this one and it was a one and done experience. The reason why I picked it up, like I said, $4. I like first person shooters. This one, it's just a generic Modern Warfare style first-person shooter with the Medal of Honor name slapped on. Honestly, if you ask me, I would have preferred if they just stuck with the World War II setting, but it is what it is. I picked it up in case my father decides he wants to play it again at some point when he retires. This one got lambasted by critics and it was deemed a broken game. Yet from what I played, I don't really see it. It's Star Trek. Now, I know we talked about Star Trek Legacy in the last video. This one is based off the movies that came out recently, the J.J. Abrams ones, and it's got Chris Pine as, you know, Captain Spock. Captain Spock. I told you I'm not a Trekkie, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm sorry, Captain Kirk. Alright, so yeah, I've played a little bit of it, and it's a third-person shooter, kind of action-based, a lot of like climbing on things. It's trying to be like, it's got like a little Uncharted platforming here and there. Now, I only paid $6 for it, and my wife likes these movies a lot, so I decided to pick it up, because at least she'll get a kick out of them, even if I'm bored playing it. $10, which is around $5 more than I would have probably wanted to pay for it. but I picked it up anyways because it caught my curiosity. It was complete in box, Secret Service on the Xbox 360. Now this once again is another Xbox 360 exclusive as far as I'm concerned, and it's a run-of-the-mill first-person shooter. I don't give a damn about the story. I skipped through all the cutscenes in the game because I wouldn't classify these as cutscenes, but it's basic. You're a Secret Service member. You're trying to protect the president and get him from point A to point B without getting shot. I hope this video doesn't get flagged for saying that. But anyways, Secret Service is like, it's an average first-person shooter. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Did this game just give me a 0 gamer score achievement point? Oh, that son of a bitch. And last but not least, this is one that I saw there and I couldn't resist picking it up. I wanted to get this one for the absolute longest time, and I never owned it physically, only digitally, up until now. And this is The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings Enhanced Edition. Now what's cool about this one is that it's got a slipcover. Now it's not in the best shape, but whatever, right? I don't care too much about the slipcover. However, it includes the quest handbook, and it's got a lot of nice text. And the game itself, The Witcher 2, is a game that I think a lot of people overlooked on the Xbox 360 because by the time it came out, people were looking for the next big thing. The Witcher 2, however, is still a fantastic game. Now, me personally, I really enjoyed Witcher 3. So going back to play Witcher 2, the combat is a little clunkier. The game doesn't feel as polished as Witcher 3 does, but it still feels like Witcher. And that's all I can ask for, honestly. You're still playing as Geralt of Rivia, and I'm really enjoying what I played from it so far. And the best part about it, it's backwards compatible on modern day Xboxes. Complete with its manual. Thank you again to the employee who actually gave me the manual and the map. And it's even got the soundtrack. Can't go wrong with that for only 12 bucks. Hell yes. Ending the episode with a banger, The Witcher 2 Enhanced Edition.
Guess they'll never learn.
I'm looking at another stack of Xbox 360 games that have been coming in hot, and I'm going to talk about them in the next video for maybe next week. So thank you all for tuning into this episode. I know it was a long one, longer than the last two. If you stuck around to the end, I really do appreciate you all for tuning in. Thank you so very much. Thank you to everybody who has since subbed to the channel and hit that like button in the last couple of videos. And I really do appreciate you all for tuning in. I really do. And I can't thank you enough. Also, if you haven't already, check out the Super Retro Force, a fantastic group of amazing YouTubers who talk about video games, do their own little thing when it comes to collecting. It's a great time. We do all these epic collabs together. Our team videos are fantastic, and you definitely got to check it out. And of course, at the CesArcade, without further ado, I wish you all a good game and good night.
Super Retro Force.